All right, it is time for the Gulf Coast Blitz. Good evening to you as we come to you in our normal night, our normal time slot, 8:30 till 9:15 here on FloydHSFootball.com and the FloydHSFootball.com social media networks at FloydHSFootball, except X/Twitter, that is at FLAHSFootball. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. Hit that subscribe button at FloydHSFootball, YouTube.com/@FloydHSFootball. That's how you can find us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button because we would greatly appreciate y'all subscribing. We are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and we want to do a lot more on our YouTube platform. And all right, there's Reno. Woo! Let's go, Gulf Coast. Yes, indeed. And Gulf Coast's Blitz is better than the Monday Night Football match. Eric Daniels, thank you so much. Oh man, that's great when the show like this is much better than Monday Night Football. This is my this is my turf. Yes, it is. Everybody's turf here. And good evening to y'all as well. Nully, good evening to you as well. And Emery Smith already popping into the comments here about Hardy. Yes, in the 106th straight meeting of Florida's oldest high school football rivalry, 44-0. The Buck Carlton Trophy remains in Wauchula for another year. There you go. And yes, I think we potentially could see Hardy in the playoffs, Emery. So we will see what happens there with that. But Hardy is now in position potentially now picked up two straight wins there for the Wildcats. So we'll have to see what happens there for those Hardy Wildcats as we roll into week number 11. And with that said, let's go ahead and hit some headlines here and kind of a real quick warning here. Actually, not a warning here. Our guest interview tonight is Jordan Ingman from Port Charlotte. We're going to have Coach Ingman on after they slayed the Demon in Naples. How about that? We'll talk to Coach Ingman, Port Charlotte District Champs, 4A District 12. And then I'm going to forewarn you, there is going to be a little bit of a soapbox on this show tonight. You might know what it's coming about. You might have seen a hint there on Twitter, on X/Twitter, Friday night, but we're going to you think you will see that pop up in the rundown here in a few minutes here. But just warning, there's going to be a little bit of a soapbox, and I'm going to take y'all's opinions too on this one because this is my beef about it at the end of the day. But we will talk about it as we roll along here. All right, with that said, it's time for the Blitz Lines. As we roll into recapping week number 10, how about this? Lakeland punches Kathleen in the mouth. And yes, Lakeland, one of the best teams in the Sunshine State right now, 8-0 now after dominating on the road, 47-6 over Kathleen. And Xander Smith connected with two receivers on a couple of touchdowns, while four players had rushing touchdowns for the Dreadnoughts. So there you go, Nolly. How about that? Lakeland 47, Kathleen 6, and now the Dreadnoughts will play the Sebring Blue Streaks on November 6th for the 5A6 district title. And Noli, yes, he is Go Knots there. So, hey, we made Noli happy already to start the show. Not even a few minutes in. There you go. All right, and then, Lakeland versus Kathleen used to be a great rivalry. Sad how that has declined over the last couple of years. Actually, it's been declining for a while now, Emery, and it's hard to see this. But oh no, Hassani. Oh no. Hassani is like, oh man, he is just crying. I'm sorry, Hassani. I'm sorry, but sometimes such is life. Rena's like, okay, go nuts. All right. How about this? We talk about Sebring in that other game. They roll Lake Gibson to keep playoff up steady, and Sebring's defense is one that helped lit things up with Tavion Bostic racking up 13 total tackles, while Jordan Olds, a freshman, had 2 sacks. 3 Blue Streaks players had interceptions, with Bostic and Alan Paul returning interceptions for touchdowns for the Blue Streaks in that game. And Sebring now rolling along here, looking at a pretty good shot of playoffs, but they will have to go through Lakeland on November 6th. And yes, November 6th, Lakeland gonna playing to Sebring and Lake for that district 5A6 title. So, and Emory Williams says Lakeland should beat Sebring. Should be a huge favorite. I agree with you. That's probably going to go Lakeland's way. Lakeland will be a district champs, 9-0 season. I don't think that Lakeland's got a game this week because they were scheduled to be off this week anyway. So, but yeah, the Dreadnoughts play most likely. I think they'll be a favorite during that game as well. All right, as we roll along, oh boy, Wiregrass Ranch almost about lost it there. Yes, they did. They almost about lost it against Land O'Lakes, 27-24 in overtime. I mean, the Bulls were really just kind of they needed everything, and then some free football there. But Nathan McNeil, 117 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Randolph also helped with 2 touchdowns as well. Land O'Lakes pretty good. Taking Wiregrass Ranch right down to the wire. That was huge right there. And Wiregrass Ranch will play River Ridge. That will be a game on the pick'ems this week. Wiregrass Ranch and River Ridge. So Wiregrass Ranch will face off for River Ridge this Friday night. And then Land O'Lakes will challenge Wesley Chapel. And boy, Wiregrass Ranch. Oh boy, keeping that undefeated record intact. But River Ridge is a good foe. And that's going to be a tough game for the Bulls to keep that undefeated record. And 8-0, win 9-0, they most likely could go into that game against Mitchell undefeated there. That's the hope, is that both of those teams come into that game on Thursday, November 7th, between Mitchell and Wiregrass Ranch, that will decide the District 6A9 title. We'll see what happens here, but Wiregrass Ranch is going to have a big test this week against River Ridge after having coming up with just a hair of a few points there to beat Land O'Lakes this past week. All right, Durant pounds Bartow for the district title. Durant 42-14, and Durant looking pretty solid. And Michael Ryan threw for 122 yards, 2 touchdowns for Durant, and they dominated the Yellow Jackets. And yeah, I got to give the Cougars a big thing. And Reno, you got this one right. And on this one, I took Bartow in the picks, and you took Durant, and so you were right on there spot on about Durant for the win against Bartow to take the district title. And as we roll along here, Clearwater Central Catholic suffering their second straight setback. This time, St. Francis Academy comes in and dominates the Marauders after coming up just short against Venice the week prior. And boy, I mean, the Marauders couldn't just get anything going. Deshaun Newton was limited to 37 yards passing. Sean Kono limited to 81 yards rushing. Yeah, but the Marauders might have a little bit easier time this week with Boca Ciega road trip there. On deck for the Marauders this week, but Marauders district champs in their own district, and they're playoff bound regardless of the results here this week. All right, as we roll along here, Cape Coral stops Mariner for the district title. How about this? Tyler Murphy in his first year as head coach there for the Seahawks. Cape Coral 26-6 over Mariner, and now the Seahawks 6-1, and they are district champs headed to the playoffs. So I got to give it for Cape Coral, Tyler Murphy coming in and coming in late and taking over the Seahawks program. And now the Seahawks are headed to the playoffs. So huge victory there for Cape Coral. And they basically kind of stopped the Mariner from basically doing any damage here. And they rolled pretty heavily right there. And 26-6 they win. But all right, I warned y'all that there was a soapbox coming here. And this soapbox, I kind of wrote some stuff up on this because this is what's frustrating. 70-point games. This is not Madden. All right, let's talk about this for a moment here. The high number of blowout games last week was one thing, but it was necessary for teams to rack up 70 or even 80 points just to make a statement. All right. You know where I'm going with this. I think some of the blame lies really, in my honest opinion, with the Florida High School Athletic Association, with the way the classifications were handled in the last reclassification cycle. My honest opinion, we went backwards. We went backwards with the Metro Suburban situation, back to the regular classifications that we've got now. All right. Metro Suburban may not have been the best solution, but it was making progress and helping teams get aligned properly where they should belong. And honestly, Metro Suburban brought us some of the best state championship games we have seen in recent memory. All right, now this past Friday night, several teams in the Gulf Coast Blitz section had literally unleashed, and I'm sorry for saying this, unleashed hell on their opponents, racking up over 70 points. Let's start with Plant racking up 82 on Sickles. Was that necessary? 82-0 was the final score in that game. You have Clearwater racking 78 up on a beaten-up Countryside team. 78-0 in that game. Venice, the same thing, 76-0 over Sarasota. Even in Central Florida, which Jones, they gained a team that's in our Gulf Coast Blitz section, 77-0 Jones over Lake Region. Come on. Seriously. Is this necessary to be putting up 70, 80 points in a game? Now, honestly, here we go. And some of y'all going to tell me there was a 70-point game in the Sunshine State Athletic Association, but the difference was that was a 70-41 game for Seven Rivers Christian against Central Florida Christian. Let's throw that out. Honestly, my point is, where do we go from here? We have still one more year in this cycle. Honestly, the more I see how the Division A and Division B brackets are shaping up in the world classification, the test of the new playoff format, the more I'm willing to see this come to the rest of the classifications. Let the teams go ahead and schedule the entire schedule. Let them create their own conferences. You got some of the best teams in the state being placed in the same district with some of the worst teams. This is not even fun to watch. And I will be honest, this is not fun to watch right now. Seeing teams light up the scoreboard like this on one side where another team is just absolutely struggling. I mean, honestly, this is not fun. And honestly, when teams are allowed full control of their schedule, they're going to schedule better for each team's individual needs. It's time to start looking at the next reclassification cycle now before it's too late in the name before the 2025 school year rolls around. Because honestly, if the plan for the world classification works and it's only the true best 16 teams in Division A and the A bracket and the B shows the next 16 teams can play meaningful games without messy blowouts, then I am all for change. And honestly, I honestly, but this is really, it really kind of bothers me with this because we don't need this. We don't need this. You're right. 70 points, holy moly, this is not mad. And how good is that for any kid to keep playing? I know it teaches something, but is it worth it? I do not think so. Call it at 40 if it's a blowout. And we have mercy rule. We have 35, but if it's up, you're up by 35 at half. It's running clock in the second half, but if you're already up at 35 and it's already one quarter, the running clock doesn't kick in. And that's part of the problem. Maybe there needs to be some revision of the mercy rule here too, somewhere at some point. Yeah, Emery Williams says, I know Minnie and Avon Park and Lake Placid have been pulling for Lakeland to crush Sebring for take a lot of players over the past several years. I mean, that's another problem we got is the open enrollment. That could be a potential problem there as well. But Mark Cannon saying that he's great with me. And you can make a statement in college, but not high school. Yeah, that's the thing. I agree. College football is a whole different animal than high school football. And these are kids. And this is where my concern is that where it comes down to the safety factor too. Why were we putting some of the best teams with some of the worst teams in the same district? And that's my whole question here when it comes down to. And Jones is way overmatched for Lake Region. The only reason they two play. Yes, you're absolutely right. If Lake Region was not in that district, they would have never played Jones. We would have never been talking about a 77-point game there. So, yes. And got to go to regions and better teams matchup. Scrap districts are at least 2 to 3. I absolutely agree. Still with you, Steven. Absolutely, yes, I agree with that. That is definitely a problem. And Eric Daniels said should be 42 and running clock starts regardless of quarter. I mean, honestly, I'd be for 35 and start running clock at it, honestly, because it doesn't become fun. It's no longer fun after a certain point when we start seeing this. I mean, I'm for good football, but this is not good football when I have to bring this up as a soapbox. So there's my soapbox for tonight on this show. But here we go. We're going to talk about Sunshine State Athletic Conference. Then we're going to talk about the couple other things that we got left on the Blitz lines. We're kind of running a couple minutes behind, but I needed to take the soapbox here for a moment because honestly, a lot there to talk about. And yes, you're right, Reno. The refs are not having any fun either with this. And I can promise you that it's not fun for anybody in this situation. So, all right. As we roll along here, let's talk about the Sunshine State Athletic Association real quick. They released their playoff brackets. Some teams in the region here are in the bracket. Well, actually, we won here with Oasis. They are going to be at Westminster Academy, as actually going to be hosting Westminster Academy, I should say, in the 2-3 matchup in the south portion of the bracket, the state championship bracket. And then the 5A portion of this, you got Out of Door Academy there going to be hosting Oxbridge Academy, while Sefner Christian will be hosting Jupiter Christian. So two teams there in that 5A bracket going to be in the Sunshine State Athletic Association playoffs. And with the Atlantic State Championship bracket, you've got LaBelle traveling to Delray Beach American Heritage in that 1-4 matchup in the South bracket. All right, as we roll along here, we're going to talk about the district champs here. We're going to take a look at those guys real quick. And as you can see, 7A6 Haines City, 7A7 Plant City, Venice right now on top in 7A8. That'll be determined here coming. Actually, it should be November 1st. That will be determined here between them and Sarasota Riverview. Armoid, Steinbrenner, Palmetto, Lakeland or Sebring, as we mentioned, Gaither or Springstead, those 5A districts right there. East Bay or Tampa Bay Tech, those will all be coming up decided here. The week 12, you got Manatee, Cape Coral, Immokalee, all there, 5A, 9, 10, and 12. And then you got 4A8, you got Zephyr Hills on top. You got Jesuit sitting there on top in 4A9. You got 4A10 with Clearwater, 4A11 with St. Petersburg sitting on top right this second. And as we roll along here, as we see, we got Port Charlotte sitting there in 4A12, Crystal River 3A7. You see a bunch of games. There's going to be a bunch of games in the Gulf Coast that we're going to look at here potentially come November 7th that'll decide the districts, but you can see the rest that we've got here along the way in terms of the 1A to 3A, 2A, and 1A districts in the region. And then, of course, the last but not least, the 1A10 and 1A11. First Baptist on top in their district, but that'll be determined on November 7th. And then how about this? Coming up here, we're going to have head coach Jordan Ingman joining us here from Port Charlotte, and we're going to talk about this one for a moment because how about this? Port Charlotte slays the Demon, and Naples takes the district. Naples has put Port Charlotte out of in the playoffs here the last couple of years, but Port Charlotte 21, Naples 18, and honestly, Port Charlotte's defense has been it's been the key here for them this year. For Port Charlotte, 6-2 on the season, 3-0 in the district, and and honestly, as we look at it, Port Charlotte just really has been playing some good football here as of late. And I know that game against Venice earlier this year kind of helped prepare them for this moment. And honestly, playing at Stater Field, it is a huge, tall task. And for a team to come out with a victory like that is huge. And honestly, we're going to talk to Jordan Ingman about this team coming up here in a moment here. And we're going to take our first water break here. Then we're going to come back, talk to head coach Jordan Ingman from Port Charlotte here on the Gulf Coast Blitz. We'll be right back right after this 2-minute water break. All right, welcome back here on the Gulf Coast Blitz. All right, oops, hit the thing. I'm going to fix that while we're doing that here because it's somehow to put the thing for the last guest. But Jordan Ingman from head coach of Port Charlotte football. Coach, I appreciate you joining us here. Let's talk about the big victory at first. I mean, congratulations on the district title, District 4A12. And honestly, Coach, I know Naples has been one of those teams that y'all have had been in your way the last couple of years, but to get this victory at Staver Field, first for you as a head coach, how huge is this for y'all just to get that win, just to finally get Naples and take them down in a big game situation like this?
Well, first off, Josh, thanks for having us tonight. It's a big deal because of the quality of the program that they have. Rick Martin, the head coach at Naples, is a class act. We have tremendous respect for their staff, Coach Martin in particular, Coach Greer. Those guys have been there a long time, and they do a nice job. They're a really good job, and their kids are strong. They're tough. They're physical. They're in shape. They're coached extremely well. They're fundamentally sound. So, it was a good night, and it's definitely a mountain we've had to climb, but we're used to that. We started 13 years ago, and when we started a winning season was something that people celebrated. So, we've had to overcome a lot of obstacles the last 13 years, and this has been the recent obstacle we've had to climb. So, it seems like a long time ago because we've got a really good football team coming in here on Friday that we're focused on right now, trying to get ready for. But that was a good night a couple nights ago.
No, absolutely. And I mean, with Staver Field, it's a hard environment there. But when we look at this, it's a district champ. You lock up a playoff spot. I mean, I know it's a good feeling. I mean, did you tell the kid? How did you tell the kids how to treat this victory and to treat this district title with given the fact that you got a really good Suffolk Hills team coming in on Friday night?
Well, we've gotten better over the years of being process oriented, not outcome oriented, and that's been our motto every week. And we told our kids this is the first step in a regional championship because we feel we control our own destiny based off the numbers. We felt if we won out, that we would be the 1 seed. So we looked at it as the first step in hopefully chasing a regional title because I think home field advantage in high school football is a big deal. I think kids are routine oriented. They play on the surface at home more than anywhere else, especially when you take into account the differentiation between artificial surface and grass fields. People outside the game, I don't think they understand that can be an advantage and a disadvantage based off of what you're used to practicing on. If you play on turf and you practice on turf all the time and you're going to play on turf, it's not a big deal. But we are a grass surface, and I think it helps us on our home because a lot of teams we play these days, they come from an artificial surface. So we felt, I know it sounds crazy, but we felt that home field advantage emotionally, routine wise and surface wise. We thought being the 1 seed would be an advantage going to the playoffs. So it was round one in our eyes of the playoffs.
No, absolutely. And Coach, when we take a look at more further at this along the way here, I mean, you guys, I mean, talk about some of your guys here that have just been like really, really lighting up the field for y'all. Because I mean, when it comes to the stats, some of these guys are going to get recognized at the end of the year in accolades.
Yeah, they need to be. And I'm going to take a moment to talk about Ike Perry, our starting running back, and Julius Roach, who's in the backfield with them. And I've been very vocal about this in the modern day high school football. Last year, we graduated a great back in Ed Guerriere. And Ed Guerriere is at Rutgers right now. He's a mid-year. He's doing well. He's a great young man. He broke our all-time leading rushing record here at the school. But Ike Perry's tremendous young man. He could have transferred in the modern day world and gone somewhere else and played more as a junior. And he chose not to. He worked really, really hard, and he got so good last year that it was at the point we had to find a way as a staff to get him on the field. And he averaged 9 yards a carry last year, and he came back this year and had an incredible offseason. And he had benched 325 pounds as a 160-pound kid, and he's unselfish. He's an elite player, and that type of work ethic and that type of leadership, when your best players are great people and grinders, you got a chance to be successful. And I think Ike and Julius Roach, who's in the backfield with them, their unselfishness and their loyalty to Port Charlotte High School, as far as not shying away from competition and saying, "Hey, I'm I'm going to work really hard and make the coaches play me from being so good. And I really respect how he's gone about it. So first off, I wanted to bring a lot of attention to Ike because his career has been very special on how he's approached that. Logan Flaherty stepped in as a sophomore, and our offense can be complicated, especially for a first-year starter, and he's done an incredible job. He's actually a very good baseball player too, and he chose to not play baseball last year because he wanted to earn his teammates' respect. And he's a guy that's came in and was voted by our players as a team captain as a sophomore, which has only been done here twice in the last 13 years. And that's a credit to his work ethic and his humility. We have a process when you come in, as an underclassman. He is a transfer, but he went in the JV locker room, and not one time did he ever complain about it. He earned his way out of there and has done a great job. And then, the engine that runs things behind the scenes, that offensive line, they're the unsung heroes. And if you know high school football, any football, any level, if you don't have a good offensive line, it doesn't matter who's throwing and who's running it. It's not going very far. So Coach Hickson does a great job with those guys. On defense, Myron Charles is a guy that is nationally recruited, and he deserves it. He's 6'4", 295 pounds. I wish people got to know him as a young man. They know him from his stars and all the accolades, but he carries a tremendous amount of humility. He's a guy in our school that in the campus never thinks he's better than anybody. He can be coached hard. He's a hard worker, and he's got tremendous humility every day he brings to his craft as well. As you go through the back end, Dior Evans, Xavier Shipley, Jabari Lomax, Julius Roach also plays back there, Chevy Lozana. Those guys have gotten better every single week. I think that's been tremendous. And then if you go to the other D linemen, King Justice and Jamari Vaughn have been major contributing factors. And then our backers have been tremendous. Taylor Akers and Dre and Carlos and Casey Hidalgo and Maddox have gotten better every week. And I think that's been the key, Josh, is the kids they've gotten better every single week. And that's hard to do sometimes.
No, absolutely. And as you mentioned, with Ike Perry doing what he is doing, but your team averaging 245.9 yards a game, can't beat that one in terms of the rushing department there. But Coach, when we're looking at this in terms of the scheduling, you didn't roll over in terms of the scheduling. I mean, the district is one of the toughest districts in the entire state, even though it's a 14 district. I mean, y'all took care of business there with Dunbar and Naples, especially in a South Fort Myers team that's trying to improve. But when we look at your only 2 losses on the season right now, that's Venice, a 49-41 battle, and then First Baptist, a team that has been a state champion in the last 2 years, 31-13. Those 2 losses. When you look at those 2 losses, what did you tell the guys, in terms of, okay, you got the district game slate ahead, with a break in between, obviously because due to Hurricane Milton. What did you tell these guys in terms of overcoming the 2 setbacks?
Well, it's led to a great off season because our players looked at the schedule and said, "Holy mackerel, we got to play some big boy ball here." And we had a tremendous off season. We usually have a pretty good off season, but this one was a little bit extra. And I think our guys knew what was coming up, and that type of schedule propelled us through a great off season. We really drew on those early losses. I heard a statistic the other day where, Coach Saban is pretty well cemented as probably the best college football in history. And they only had 2 undefeated seasons there. And the reason is you learn in the valley. I'm a believer in, you learn in the losses. So we structured our schedule to hopefully reveal some of our issues early. And the other thing is our staff wanted our guys to be able to overcome adversity early. And I remember the newspaper writer after the game, Naples, he asked me a very specific question. He goes, "Coach, did you panic? Did you get nervous when you guys were down by a score early on?" They took the opening drive, went down our throat, and then forced us to punt. We punted from our 1-yard line, and luckily forced a fumble to get back in it. And I said no. And the reason was we got down early against Venice, 14-0. Our kids came back and tied it. So I felt like that experience early on in the season, by having to come back and against a very, very good football team, helped us not panic in that situation on Friday night because of what we had experienced early in the year. So I definitely am a very big believer in a tough schedule. And if your guys can handle it, it can go the other way south fast. If your kids aren't mentally tough and you have a couple big losses in the modern day high school football, it can get very challenging and make the rest of your season hard. But in this situation, our schedule being as tough as it is has really helped us overcome some of those hard moments we faced on Friday night.
No, absolutely. And of course, this week it's you're hosting Zephyr Hills at home. Zephyr Hills a pretty good ball club at 6-2, same record as what you all have got right now. And then, hey, I know this was supposed to be during the stretch during Milton, but there was some debate if it was going to even happen. But you've got that Peace River rivalry, the schedule for the last final absolute date, November 7th, and that'll be a home game as well for y'all. And I mean, in Charlotte, they've come up a little bit this year too. So I mean, the fact that you got two programs that are gonna fight hard against y'all. I mean, how do you get these guys ready for these final two games?
I think it's great that we have two good ball clubs left. If we want to even have a chance of making a run at state and regional finals and regional championships, you got to get better the next 2 weeks going into the playoffs. If you stay the same, then you're going to be out in the first two rounds. So once again, our schedule is tough, and I'm excited about that because our guys are going to practice harder. You can't fool high school kids. You can tell them all you want and hide the film from them, but they know good and they know bad. And if the teams that you're playing are not good, then I've always found, maybe that's a poor job coaching on my part, it's very hard to get better when you're playing a team that's not good that week. So we're thankful once again that we got two good ball clubs coming in the next 2 weeks that we've got to get ready for, because hopefully that sends us into the playoffs more prepared than we would have been.
No, absolutely. Of course, the Peace River rivalry is on the 7th. Got Zephyr Hills this week. And Coach, congratulations again for the district championship. At least secured a playoff spot, and we'll see what happens with the playoff rankings and what the potential matchup is going to be once we find those out that come Saturday, November 9th. And appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule with your guys. I know it's a lot, but best of luck to you in your final two games against Zephyr Hills and your rival Charlotte there.
Josh, thank you all for all you do for high school football. I think this is awesome. It's so professional, and bringing credit to our players across the state. I mean, we are, as high school coaches, very grateful for this platform. So thank you for everything you do.
No, appreciate it. And Reno says, welcome, Coach, and we're glad that you had us here. So appreciate that very much. Thank you so much, Coach, and you have a great night.
You do the same. God bless y'all.
All right, thank you so much. That was head coach Jordan Ingman joining us here on the Gulf Coast Blitz. Port Charlotte 6-2. They're on to the playoffs with the district title in hand. And of course, they got Zephyr Hills this week, and then Charlotte at home to wrap up the regular season schedule for Port Charlotte. And as Reno says, thanks for joining us here, Coach. Thank you as well. So, all right, it's time to get some water. We're going to go to our second water break, and then we're going to have fan question of the week, and then we're going to get into the pick six. Woo! Yeah, to wrap up the show. All right, we'll be right back here on the Gulf Coast Blitz right here on FortHSFootball.com and FortHSFootball.com social media networks. All right, welcome back here on the Gulf Coast Blitz. Again, thank you for everybody for joining us here as we do every Monday night here right here on the Gulf Coast Blitz on FortHSFootball.com and the FortHSFootball.com social media networks. And yes, indeed. Hey, it is the fourth quarter, Reno. Drink up, baby. Yes, indeed. Drink up. Let's see. I have my Gators water bottle here with water, ice water. Thanks to my fiance for that. And then, of course, some sparkling ice. So, yes, I drink up. Yes, indeed. And yes, Reno, yes, you subscribe. Come on, people, subscribe. Hit us at Florida HS Football on YouTube. And Emery Williams says, great listening to Jordan Ingman. A very huge win at Naples last week. Zephyr Hills and the rivalry Charlotte are great. Our games remaining for Porto. Yes, they are. Yes, indeed. You know what, Emery? You're going to get a bit. Let me see if I get it right before the thing. There you go. You're right, Emery. You were the one that's predicting a Port Charlotte win. There you go. There you go, Emery. Yes, indeed. Awesome. All right. You know what? It's almost that time. I think it's that time. You know what time it is? It's time. It's time. Oh, Mark Cannon, did you? Yes, you did. Yes, Mark Cannon. Okay, yes, you did too. All right. It's time for the pick six. 3 claps and a Ric Flair. Pick six time. Let's go. Yes, Reno, you ready for this? You ready for this? I'm ready for this. All right, we do it every week. You can hit the comments. You can put it in the comment box. I'll see the comments on the side here. Comment wherever you're watching us from. Play along with the pick six, because we're going to roll along here. All right, last week, me and Reno, we were 3-3 each. Okay, not too bad. I was wrong on the Port Charlotte game. Yes, indeed. Oh, goodness. Yes, 4-3 Gators beat the Dogs. Yes, it is Gators week. It is for the Dogs. It's against the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend. Everyone says, go Gators. Yes. Boo on me for that. Yes, Rito. Yes. Boo on me. All right. So for the results for the season, I'm 41-17 here in the Gulf Coast Blitz. Just a little over 70% on that pick, on the pick'em so far here for the Gulf Coast Blitz as we roll along here. All right. Our first game, Wiregrass Ranch at River Ridge. Man, I'm telling you, this is going to be tough. Wiregrass Ranch, for me, honestly, that was a tough game against Lando Lakes this past week. And honestly, you got to be ready for River Ridge. River Ridge pretty good. Just missed out on a district title. But the Royal Knights are going to be a test here for the Bulls. And I don't think it's going to be easy. Wiregrass Ranch ain't going to get off easy in this one. However, I lean Wiregrass Ranch because the game against Mitchell is where it's going to be really at come November 7th. And my pick this week is going to be Wiregrass Ranch. And who's got your picks in here if you want to play along? I see Mark Cannon here. I don't know if Nolly's got a pick yet here, but if Nolly's playing along or not. But Mark Cannon's going Wiregrass Ranch. And no, there's Nolly's pick because I'm going to pull up Reno's Rick here in a moment, Wiregrass Ranch. And Reno is going with Wiregrass Ranch. So there's the first pick right there. And Eric Daniels, play along here. All right, Eric Daniels, Wiregrass Ranch as well. And Mark Cannon says, ain't worried about no River Ridge. Woo-hoo. I love it. All right, let's roll along to our second game. Chamberlain 6-2 at Leonard 6-3. Both teams have seen drastic improvements this year. But Leonard, they've kind of slid back here the last couple of games. And Chamberlain looking pretty solid and in playoff position. They'll play Jefferson for a district title on November 7th. And I like what the Storm is doing. Yes, no, I almost said the Chamberlain Chiefs. They are not the Chiefs. They are the Chamberlain Storm now, by the way. They've been the Storm the last couple of years. And honestly, my pick is rolling to Chamberlain in this one. Give Chamberlain their 7th win of the season. Pretty much get a playoff position secured. And Reno, they're not the Chiefs anymore. You gotta change. Yeah, the Chamberlain Storm. Redo that comment, and then I'll put it up. As we pull up the picks from Nole, Chamberlain. He's going Chamberlain. Mark Cannon, Chamberlain, I think. Ooh, And Eric Daniels says Chamberlain Leonard has gone cold. And but I'll tell you this. You know what? I'll go ahead and pull up what Reno said here. He said Chamberlain Chiefs, which basically it's no longer a tribe there. And but it's a Storm, and the Chamberlain Storm. Well, they're going to support and take the win over Leonard. So he's going Chamberlain here. And Emory Williams Smith, Chamberlain, and Jefferson have both looked impressive this year. Yes, they're in Class 3A, Region 3. We'll see what the playoff rankings look like for Chamberlain come tomorrow evening. The Storm washes away. Oh, okay. All right, Reno, we got that. Chamberlain for the pick here, it looks like, from almost everybody that is participating here tonight. All right, game number 3, North Fort Myers at Charlotte. Both 6-2 coming in here. Yeah, I don't know why, Reno, why Max Preps hasn't totally changed it, but it's the Chamberlain Storm here. So, but all right, North Fort Myers 6-2 at Charlotte 6-2. This is a game that for both teams, this is a lock-up playoff positioning for both of these teams. And honestly, Charlotte has looked pretty solid here. North Fort Myers, they took a loss to Riverdale this past week, one of the games that we lost here. But honestly, I think North Fort Myers, I picked North Fort Myers last week to win. Riverdale got them. But I think this week, North Fort Myers is going to take that victory and get Charlotte there. And where we're going with North Fort Myers for the victory here. And Mark Cannon's going North Fort Myers. Nolly is taking North Fort Myers. Eric Daniels is taking Fort Myers. And here's Reno's pick. He's going with the Red Knights as they march and take the win over Charlotte. Yes, there's Fighting Terrapins. Fighting Terrapins, yes, indeed. So North Fort Myers for the win in terms of Reno's pick there. All right. So game number 4, Miami Palmetto at Bishop Road to close out the regular season. Miami Palmetto 6-2, Bishop Road 5-3. Bishop Road won't close out the regular season here. They do have Glade Central on November 7th. Mark Cannon, your granddaughter goes to Charlotte. Oh boy, oh yes. But Miami Palmetto 6-2 at Bishop Road 5-3, and this is going to be a tough game for Verot. Vikings need this. They need a big win here to kind of help themselves with the playoff position because they're going to have a really good Glade Central team the following week. And honestly, this is what's going to be hard. But I think Miami Palmetto is just going to be too good for Bishop Verot. And that's where I'm going. I'm going with Miami Palmetto for the win here this week. Yes, and I'm agree with you, Mark Cannon. Verot's defense has been kind of struggling here as of late, and Nolly's going Miami Palmetto. Mark Cannon's going Palmetto, and he does say about Verot's defense not good, and that's the problem right there is the defense. It's not so much the offense. And Bishop Verot has played a good schedule. Eric Daniels, is that who you're going with for the game here? Is Bishop Verot? I just want to make sure. You can leave a comment, and I'll make sure to take that. No, Reno, this is the Miami Palmetto Panthers, not the Tigers. Palmetto's the Tigers up in Manatee County. This is the Panthers. But you think they're going to steal the Storms anyway. So, yeah, it's Miami Palmetto is going to take the win. So, but Eric Daniels is saying yes to that, Bishop Verot. So, all right, we have one pick for the Bishop Verot. But, honestly, Miami Palmetto, the Panthers, I think they're going to take down the Vikings here. Oh, okay, with the upset. All right, I like it. Reno, Nolly, you bring some good humor to this group, along with Reno. I love it with the show. Reno wants to pick the. I can't with y'all right now. Woo. All right. Reno's going with Palmetto. I know that. All right, on to our 5th game. We got Dunbar Tigers at Fort Myers Greenway, both 6-2. And Dunbar bounced back last week. Fort Myers sitting there trying to deal with some stuff there. They missed out on their district title. Still much in the playoff hunt here, but I got to say, this is where I'm kind of, it's really interesting. Dunbar is kind of a Jekyll and Hyde situation, I mean, honestly, what do we know about Dunbar? but they can win one week, they can lose the next week. But, I mean, they did beat South Fort Myers pretty soundly, 31-6. For Fort Myers, the Green Wave, their latest victory, 48-14 over East Lee County. And honestly, I don't know what to say here because, I mean, Fort Myers, when the game needs a thing, I'm kind of seeing I'm kind of thinking that, I think Fort Myers will win, but I'm going to lean in Dunbar on this one. So I'll take I'm going here. So here we go. Reno is going to, I'm going to put Reno, but Mark Cannon saying Dunbar breaks Fort Myers always hard, and they do break their hearts a lot. But Noah's going Green Wave. Eric Daniels is going Dunbar. Mark Cannon's going Dunbar. But Reno is going Fort Myers. Ooh, all right. Well, with that said, it looks like we got a kind of a split decision here with terms of the picks here. And yeah, Emery, Palmetto Tigers is my Palmetto and Manatee, and then there's the Palmetto Ridge and Naples. Yeah, all different teams. Yeah, Reno, give Reno a break a little bit, Emery. He's still learning some of the mascots here, but he's having a lot of fun with this, and I agree as well. All right, pick number 6, Zephyr Hill, 6-2 at Port Charlotte. I told you this game would be on the pick'ems. All right, I made a mistake the last couple times I've had Port Charlotte on here. Didn't think Port Charlotte would beat Dunbar. Yeah, proved me wrong. Didn't think they would beat Naples because of the tough place at Stater Field. Proved me wrong. This week, I'm not going to go against Port Charlotte. I think they take Zephyr Hills down. Port Charlotte playing some mighty good football here as of late. And as we heard with head coach Jordan Ingman, it's, coaching, it's about the scheduling. Got to play some tough games in order to teach these kids something. And honestly, it looks like the chat's going for Port Charlotte in this one. Yeah, a big Gulf Coast game here. Mark Cannon going Port Charlotte. Eric Daniels going Port Charlotte. Hard place to win. Noli going Port Charlotte. And Noli, I got to go back to Noli's comment here. Port Charlotte pours out the water. I love this. I love it. That's good, Noli. I love you, Noli. Emery Williams-Smith says Port Charlotte Pirates for the win. And then here's Reno's pick. He's going Port Charlotte. Go Coach Ingman. Port Charlotte all the way. There you go. I love you guys. I love all of y'all. Who's watching? I mean, I love all of y'all. All right. Yes, indeed. That's so much fun. I really love it. Honestly, y'all give me, it's a lot of fun here doing the picks with the pick 6 here as we wrap up the Gulf Coast Blitz here tonight. Got your picks down, Reno. We'll have to see what happens here come Friday night. All right. Any final thoughts, comments? I know I went on the sub box tonight about the 70-point games, and honestly, something's got to give. Something's going to give. Oh, you're going to beat me, Reno. You already did kind of beat me in the Central Florida Blitz. Let's see what happens here. And everyone else, thank you so much. I appreciate it as well here. All right. It's about time to put some zeros on that clock here as we wrap it up here with the Gulf Coast Blitz. Appreciate everybody joining us here. And thank you so much again. We'll be back tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock with the South Florida Blitz, 8 o'clock North Florida Blitz, 9 o'clock Drive the State. We'll go with the playoff brackets and everything for the Drive the State show with the latest playoff rankings with the FHA Max Press Power Rankings. Definitely appreciate everybody. Thank you, Reno. Thank you. It's 0-0's on the clock. Yes, we need to give Reno some slack. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mark Cannon, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Make sure to share the YouTube channel link at Florida at youtube.com/@FloridaHSFootball. Share that YouTube, subscribe, and everything. And Noli says, have a great night, everyone. Be safe. Thank you so much. And yes, indeed. It is 0-0 on the clock. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow night for the 3 shows right here on FloridaHSFootball.com. Right here. Have a good night, everybody.